Hello, and welcome to another episode of the NHCFAE Career Series Podcast. My name is Karen Perez, your host. Today, we're discussing an essential area of aviation, which ensures the integrity of our professions, and that is drug enforcement. Joining me today is Freidy Lazala, an FAA drug enforcement specialist. Freidy, thank you for being here. Could you start telling us a bit about your role and what drug enforcement means within aviation?
Hey, Karen. Thank you for having me. So, as you mentioned, my name is Freidy Lazala, and my title is Drug and Alcohol Compliance and Enforcement Inspector. Our job fall under AVS, Airspace Medicine, the Drug Abatement Division. Our job entails making sure that employees on the private sector that are safety sensitive are fit for duty. And those type of employees include pilots, mechanics, flight attendants, contract non-FAA air traffic controllers, ground security coordinators, and so forth. We want to make sure they're not under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Alcohol is legal, so they cannot use it 8 hours before work or anytime after a post-accident. In our job, pretty much we travel 50% of the time, and we go to the companies. We review the drug and alcohol program. Each company is required to maintain a drug and alcohol program for the safety sensitive employees. And we just merely go and inspect their program, making sure their integrity of the program is there, that our regulations are being followed. And if they miss any of the steps on our regulations, we'll put them out of compliance. We'll give them a out of compliance report of inspection letter and allow them an opportunity to fix the problem. And sometimes it leads to a civil penalty, unfortunately, where they have to pay a fine. So that's in a nutshell what we do.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So, what does a typical day look like for someone in this field, and what kind of cases or compliance issues do you come across?
So every other week, we're in a different place. So we have 3 centers in LA, Fort Worth, and Miami. And we divide the country into 3. We travel every other week. We're on a plane every other Monday morning, and we're home every other Friday afternoon. So very demanding work, puts a lot of strain on your family. So you need a very supportive spouse and family in order to do this job. So we travel on a Monday. We inspect either 1 to 7 companies during that week, depending on their size. Sometimes the companies are small enough where we can do an inspection in half of a day, but others are big enough, like Delta, JetBlue. Here in the Eastern, we have FedEx, UPS, where the whole team go to the company and we're there for the whole week. For smaller companies, we'll go in pairs, 2 inspectors in a team. We'll conduct our inspections, and the following week, when we come to the office, we'll write our reports. We'll write down all the violations, upload, and scan all the items of proof. Once we write these reports, we send it to the companies, called a report of inspection, and they have to respond to it, letting us know how are they going to fix the problem. And we make sure that fix does work. If they don't, then we'll request for another corrective action that will work. If that particular violation leads to a legal enforcement action, then we'll write that case and then we send it to the FAA lawyers for processing. When some employees test positive for drug or alcohol, we have another branch for our investigators that will take that case and they would either go after their license or their medical certificate until they get help. They can go to rehab. They get 2 chances, 2 strikes and you're out. So you get 1 chance to get rehabilitated, and there's a whole process that they have to follow. And we make sure they do that.
Wow, that's impressive work. I think it touches on not only the need for diversity within these roles, because these positions are safety critical and influence the safety of the flying public, it highlights the need for folks in these roles to be fully qualified and safe as well, so that when you and I jump on a plane, we have that confidence that we can get there safely. So that's amazing. So how was it that your career path directly led you into this role? What kind of background or training does someone need to prepare themselves for this kind of responsibility?
It's not one specific path. We've had inspectors come from the DEA office, Customs and Borders Patrol, Social Security, different departments. So as long as you have a bachelor's degree and some type of enforcement or compliance experience, you'll be a good candidate. But for me, I didn't have much of either. I have a bachelor's degree. I was in the Air Force, being a civil engineering assistant for 4 years. And I was 3 years at the South Florida Flight District Office. So for 3 years, I was learning what certificates or what training required to become a pilot, private pilot, certificates also for mechanics who will make sure that the training is correctly to get their A&P certificates. I'll process those. And then for the aviation safety inspectors, I help them with their cases, doing paperwork. I learned a lot about aviation and enforcement for those 3 years. That gave me a little bit of experience understanding what an on-demand operator is, or a non-scheduled 135 operator, or a repair station. Oh, what's that language? I was able to gain a lot of insight during those 3 years in the FISTO.
Well, we definitely need more awareness on the kinds of prerequisites that people need in order to qualify for certain roles. And I think once you are immersed in any portion of the aviation industry, it's amazing to see the different parts, a lot of times moving parts, of different parts that come together to make our airspace safe, to make our aviation system safe, so that when we fly from one point of the country to the other, that we're not concerned necessarily about safety. We assume that it's being taken care of. And there's a level of pride there that you should have when it comes to being a part of that.
Totally. Me flying every day, I've become desensitized about it. People get nervous getting on a plane. I treat it like a bus. I just get on my seat and I'm there in an hour or two. No worry about what's happening. And I've been through some turbulence and stuff like that, some scary flights, but never that there's been or has been someone under the influence that had touched that flight. Never. We take our job seriously and we're very proud of what we do.
That's amazing. I think that speaks volumes to the work that you do, the confidence that you put on your colleagues, not only within your office, but across the FAA. So I'd like to ask you, what are some challenges that you faced in this career and what have you learned from them?
You know, I've been in this position for 10 years. There's a human element to this program. There's always going to be some human error, right? And having the empathy, but still holding them accountable on the inspection, I've had to learn that a lot. Treating everybody with respect. You can still hold people accountable and making sure that they're running the program, but you still are able to treat them with respect and making sure that I treat my inspections as an educational type of environment, that they can learn why are the regulations there, why do we put them in place, and what happens if they don't follow it, right? So we take the time to really teach the companies on the reasons why the regulations exist. Some tend to listen to us, some don't. Depending on the part of the country you are, they might not like the federal employees, and I've been in some situations where it was a little uncomfortable being in the presence of them. But you learn to always hold your head up high and be professional.
Yeah, that's really remarkable. And I think you should be proud of that. In terms of your role, how does the NHCFAE, the National Hispanic Coalition, support enforcement professionals and help raise awareness about the importance of integrity and compliance and doing your job with pride?
So I've been with the Hispanic Coalition since I've been in the FAA, since I started. And it helped me a lot networking and grow professionally. The FAA is so big, and there's so many things out there that I have no idea existed. So being able to be around other colleagues, professionals, and learn from them professionally and personally, it helped me a lot grow, be able to speak in front of people, helping others move up in their careers. Not only was I a mentee back then, now a mentor. I help others go up the ranks, help with their leadership style. Another thing that did help me grow was the outreach process that we do. Outreach. So we go to middle schools, high schools, and colleges and talk about FAA careers and aviation careers. So being in front of a classroom and speaking, I was very timid before, but now I'm able to speak a little bit with less fear or less crack on my voice in front of a crowd. I recently received an award and I was doing a speech in front of hundreds of people, professionals in the industry. And I practiced a lot, but I was nervous. It's like lights hitting deer's eyes, but I was able to get through it without a crack. So I was proud of that. And the Hispanic Coalition for sure helped me get to that point.
Before we close, Freidy, what do you want to leave the audience with today?
Well, drug abatement is growing and we are clearly undermanned. The FAA created a hiring authority for our jobs specifically that is called direct hire. So anyone could send in their resumes. I can send it to the director of drug abatement, review it, and see if you fit for the job. But right now we have, I believe it's until January. I'm not sure if they're going to extend it due to the government shutdown, but 6 months of on-the-spot hiring authority. All you need is your resume, send it. We'll put the description and the link on the description part section. Kind of will let you know. Make sure you have a USA Jobs account active. Upload all your documents that you need, your resumes. If you're in the military, you did it 214, any references and stuff like that. Make sure it's all uploaded, usajobs.gov. I'm not sure with this hiring authority whether you have to go through that process or your resume will suffice. So it's a great time to come into drug abatement. We have a lot of opportunities available. It's a well-paying job. You come in as a trainee inspector, as a G-band, but within 2 years, if you get a good grasp of the regulations and you're doing your cases in its timelines, you can go to an I-band within 2 years. And an I-band is a GS-13. So it's a very fast career progression. And again, those investigator jobs are GS-14s, J-bands, managers are K-bands. So there's a lot of growth in drug abatement. There's a lot of leadership and higher jobs that took the resignation. So there's a lot of spots to fill up. So I very excited for what's coming on and coming to the future for drug abatement. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send me an email.
All I heard was fast career progression. And I said, where do I sign up? So we definitely want to share any and every opportunity we can with our audience and open doors of opportunities wherever possible. So we'll add that link to the description box below. Well, thank you, Freidy, for sharing your story and your perspective. I hope you know that what you do is powerful and critical to the flying public. Powerful because you do that community outreach. You mirror not only who you are and where you come from to the next generation of aviation professionals, and critical to the flying public because you play an important role in making sure that everyone is safe across the board. We also appreciate you helping us showcase the kind of diversity that NHCFAE members bring to the table. So thank you so much. For our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation and if you would like to connect with more aviation professionals, please consider joining the NHCFAE. Membership gives you access to all sorts of benefits, including mentorship, scholarships, and events that allow these conversations to go even further. So please visit www.nhcfae.org to learn more. So thank you and see you next time.